I'm Brad Powell from St. Louis, Missouri. I sell OrthoPediatric products, and what I have in front of me is a instrument tray that contains OrthoPediatric blade plates, and these blade plates would be used in a patient who has any number of hip problems. These blade plates are used to correct, for example, valgus hip and bring the hip back down into correct varus angle. And to make it brief, the physician would cut the patient's hip bone. They would secure this plate to the hip bone, bring the hip back down into a correct angle. The blade here would go into the patient's femoral neck and head, and the screws along the shaft would fix the plate to the patient's femoral shaft and hold the plate very firmly against the bone. You can either use this blade plate, or OrthoPediatrics also makes what's called a locking proximal femoral plate, which instead of having a blade, the plate would have screws that go into the femoral head instead of this blade. Some physicians prefer a blade plate. Other physicians prefer a locking proximal femoral plate. After they've made a cut on the thigh bone and they've secured the plate to it, you've got a very firm bone that is now again one piece. Generally, it would come out, and I would say after maybe a year or a year and a half. Over the years since Dr. Gordon and Miller have been coming down here, I've been asked and happy to provide certain implants to them. And then once I became affiliated with OrthoPediatrics, Dr. Gordon and Dr. Miller had a very good working relationship with them. So it's just kind of progressed through the years. It's been a very enjoyable trip. It's always hot and humid, but very enjoyable. Educational. You get to see things you're not going to see at home. So it's a very worthwhile trip.